Those stinking Etsy scammers are on the rise. Etsy rewards sellers for driving traffic to their listings, a brand new Etsy policy, and more on this episode of Seller News. Let's go. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast and the Friday specific Etsy Seller News edition, where I bring you the latest news, updates, things that you guys need to know about as Etsy sellers, handmade sellers, online sellers, e-commerce sellers, all those things wrapped into one so you know what's going on and don't have to figure it out on your own. So this episode, I have several things to bring to your attention and talk about as far as Etsy goes. So the first one is those stinking Etsy scammers. Scammers are never going to go away. They're always going to find new ways to scam you, new ways to try and get your money, try and get you to do things that you don't want to do. And it's no different when it comes to Etsy. There's always new tricks and tactics out there. Etsy has released another warning statement basically saying that there's a new batch of scammers with new tactics out there, a new uptick basically of things that are going on. Specifically with this batch, they're seeing an uptick when it comes to contacts to sellers via phone and via messaging, basically claiming that they are Etsy support and they're wanting you to do different things, give you your email address, give you personal information that you should not be providing via phone or message. When this happens, especially through Etsy messaging, make sure you report it as spam. If there's anything pertinent that Etsy needs from you, they will probably send you an email and it will come from an email address like support@etsy.com or something like that. So you can always right click on where the email is coming from to see the actual email address, because they can mask email address as well. So just be very cautious with responding and clicking on weird links that you're getting, especially through Messenger or an email. Just double check. If you're not sure, have someone else look at it. But always be cautious when you're getting those things. There also is an uptick on quote-unquote sellers reaching out to buyers, pretending to be buyers, and then basically pivoting into getting personal information. I've seen this myself, where someone will say they're interested in a specific listing, and they will actually mention the listing or share the listing to get you engaged, and then they pivot to some type of random questions, or they pivot to some other question that you know is leading you down the road of being scammed in a different way. So just be cautious of that. If that happens, just to mark it as spam or ignore the message going forward. The other thing is really buyers are sometimes now scamming themselves or helping themselves be scammed because they're looking to contact Etsy support. And this is for new, not buyers, sellers. This is for new sellers. They're looking for Etsy support contact number, and they're finding random numbers online and they're calling them, and they're scam numbers, and then they're being scammed that way. So you should only be contacting support through Etsy's help center. So they have, through the Etsy dashboard, they have a help center that you call and reach out to, and then you have to submit a contact support form. Most people also have access to Etsy's support chat through the dashboard as well. So make sure you're going through those proper channels if you need to reach out to support, and not doing a random Google search on Etsy's support number and calling some random number, or doing replying to a random email address. You have to go through the support forum, which creates a case, which then goes to Etsy and is worked that way, as most support tickets are worked. So keep that in mind. Don't be scammed. Stay vigilant and watch out for those things that are going on and circulating when it comes to Etsy. The next thing I want to talk about is Royal Mail recently just partnered with Etsy to print out Etsy shipping labels for sellers. So basically how that works, if you want to participate in that, if you are in the UK and use Royal Mail, you can partner with, I'm not sure how you set it up specifically, but basically you would partner with Royal Mail, and I'm sure probably there's a drop down in the shipping settings where it basically says that Royal Mail is going to be printing your shipping labels. I know that when you do that, you will get a QR code that you then take to the Royal Mail shipping center. They scan it, print out your label, put it on your package, and ship it for you. This basically makes it easier if sellers don't want to have to go through the process of doing it on their end, buying a printer, all that good stuff. So that seems well and good. So it's good for kind of part-time, low volume sellers. As far as big sellers, full-time sellers, high volume sellers, this is not really practical because it's very time consuming and they have to scan every single label. So can you imagine if you had to take 50 packages, you'd have to wait there and have 50 packages scanned. So it's well intentioned, but I'm not sure that it's practical for high volume sellers to do. But if you use Royal Mail, it may be something that you want to look into, especially if you're only shipping out a couple packages a week. It may be a good option for you. The next thing I want to move on to is the Etsy Share and Save program. I actually did a full episode on this earlier this week, diving into the pros, cons, and the specifics of what this program is all about. So I'm going to cover it briefly in this episode. Basically, it allows sellers to save 4%, get 4% back on purchases that come from a specific link that they shared out on social media or email, wherever someone is clicking on a specific link. So how it works, they activate the Share and Save program. You share that link out for a specific listing or to your store. Someone then uses that link to come back to your store and buy. You get 4% back off the purchase of that item. So it's supposed to be deposited instantly. Etsy's supposed to know instantly. It's cookied within 30 days, so someone has to use that link and buy. Once they click on the link, they have to come back and buy within 30 days. If it goes past 30 days, it does not count. And there's a variety of ways that you can share links. You can share links to your shop, to specific listings, to specific sections, and you can even showcase a review that you recently got and have a link that comes back to your shop that way as well. The shared review links and shared section links are in your Etsy seller app. Specifically, you can't do that from your desktop. So there are pros and cons to it. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is everyone going to love it? No, but it is a way to save some extra money off the costs and fees if you want to take advantage of it. So make sure you check it out. You can activate it in your Etsy seller dashboard. The last thing I want to talk about is a policy change, and this policy change was effective September 8th. So I'm a little late on this, and if you aren't abiding by this policy, make sure you go in and change your listings up. But basically, it's the imagery of minors policy. It prohibits content that features minors in undergarments, images of minors in form-fitting clothes that are cropped to focus on private areas, or poses that could be interpreted, I can't say words today, as age appropriate. So this is for people that are selling baby clothes, baby accessories, child accessories, child clothes. Just make sure your images are appropriate and abiding by this policy. If you're unsure, just take pictures of the accessories or clothes without the children in them, just to make sure. And I'm sure you can all understand why this policy is in effect. It's to prevent the sickos of the world from whatever they may be thinking or doing. So those are the things I wanted to cover to make sure you guys are informed, know what's going on in the Etsy realm, and can make sure you're using those things to your advantage to be successful on Etsy and grow your shop and meet your goals and all those good things. If you like this episode, please give me a like, share, comment, review, all those things depending on where you're watching it. I read everyone. I appreciate it. Helps me keep me motivated to keep doing these things for you. Keep bringing the fire for you. That's it for this episode, guys. Have an amazing rest of your day and a great weekend.